Так, мы продолжаем проходить Kingdom Come Deliverance. Это уже 5-й выпуск. Так, в принципе, как раз остановились на том, что нам нужно найти некого разбойника в Ужице. Так, сейчас... Так, где тут наша лошадь? А вот она, сивка. Итак, цель А. Далековато должна быть. Новый уровень верховой езды. Характеристики. Общий. Аскет. Так. Стоп, нужно посмотреть сведения. Так, без пищи, голос крутис. Так, нечаянно свернул. Так. Радиус быстрого перехода также увеличивает на 10% вероятность уклонения. Ночной наездник. Ваша выносливость восстанавливается на 20% быстрее ночью. Так, все уменьшение характеристик после выхода из тюрьмы будут слабее на 20%. Бюргер. В городах и деревнях, а также в непосредственной близости от них вы получаете +1 к силе, ловкости, живучести и красноречию. Дикарь. За пределами городов и деревень вы получаете +1 к силе и ловкости. Так. Вот, думаю, вот это, в принципе, подойдет. Ох, как же далеко ехать-то сейчас придется. Такое было происшествие какое-то. Так, тут мы вроде бы уже были. Ох. Тут надо как-то проехать. Дорог нету. Опа. Что это такая золочуга? О, тут деревня, кажется. Интересно, может тут что-то есть?
I feel quite hungry.
Так, голоден, говоришь. Итак. Мясо, сушеные грибы. О. И можно хлеб и яблоко. Ох, слабое отравление, но ничего страшного, подумаешь. Опа. Каменные кусты. Какое красивое местечко. Это рыба? Интересно, на нее можно из лука по... Сейчас под водой. Не плаваю. Странно. Так. Ну что ж, вперед. Дорога еще долгая впереди. А, уже нет. Вот он наш городишко. Знаете, где живет хромой разбойник? Это у нас, ого, огромная область. Будем играть в детектива. Так, ну как обычно, чтобы что-то узнать, нужно ехать в корчму. Так, тут что-то никого нет. Вообще как-то безлюдно. Так, а я тут еще в зоне задания нахожусь. Да. Вот тут какое-то собрание. А мы сейчас сюда и... Этот парень на разбойника немного похож. Так, что за собрание? Ну, кажется, приехал туда, куда надо.
Citizens, move along. There's nothing to see here.
If that's what you call nothing to see, I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanush's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosh.
Ого.
And all that's left of him.
Все интереснее и интереснее. О.
Sucker. Nothing's ever easy. I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Так,
Who was Limpy Lubosh?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say I'm too surprised what happened to him. He kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble. Punch-ups in the tavern and what have you.
так.
How come he limped?
Почему он хромал?
He got that from some villainy or brawl a long time ago.
Что-нибудь подозрительное тут было? Дружки у него были?
Did he have
Вот,
any
это
kith or
важно
kin in the
очень.
village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Так,
Has he been up to anything suspicious lately?
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
так. Назад. Когда
When did
нашли
you find
труп?
the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now. And nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
А что
Another
можно
thing
еще
about
более
Lubosh.
больше? Так, в принципе, все узнал. Так, что, кого еще можно опросить? Не говорите, что всех нужно прям опрашивать. Ну, хотя бы
help to you.
корчмарь. Так,
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Leipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know nothing about it, but ask all you want.
так.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Come to think of it, he was in church yesterday. He was even talking to the priest and went to confession. I was wondering what he was up to take to the faith all of a sudden. But I suppose no sin's too dark for God's mercy.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I was coming from the tavern very late that night, and I caught a glimpse of someone entering the village. He looked like he was in a hurry. It was only a shadow against the sky, but after what happened, I wouldn't wonder.
Ладно.
That's all.
Думаю, он больше ничего интересного не расскажет. А вот что
Is there
касается
anything suspicious
заданий,
going on
может
in these
быть.
parts?
Indeed, there is. Just last night, Father Godwin was here, calling fire and brimstone down on old Gertrude, the herb woman. He's not one to make a fuss over some trifle either. And that's not all. Around here, you should hear about what Vashek the groom has been up to at the stables. When the head groom told the lads here, they fell off their seats laughing.
Так,
Is there
Еще
anything
что-то?
suspicious?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
так, что-нибудь интересненькое тут появилось на карте. Новое задание. Да что же за задание это такое, если... Узнай... О, вот, надо со священником поговорить. Что за Йозеф?
God be with you.
I've come in the name.
I don't know nothing about it, but
That's all.
Вашек.
God be with you.
I've come in the name of Sir...
I don't know nothing of...
Do you know anyone?
Not within.
Так, а
That's
что
all.
за обучение? А, нет, это такое неинтересно. Фехтование это другое дело или стрельба из лука. Так. Где наш священник? О, писарь можно поучиться, думаю, читать.
What the hell are you doing?
Это крестьянин, крестьянка. Это что, частная территория, да? Ладно, не будем трогать людей. Хотя у вас тут бадьи нигде нету под боком. Так, помыться. Ты кто такой? Ничего себе, святой отец.
I see you know how to wield a sword, Father. I wouldn't have expected that from a man of the cloth.
With a stick. I practiced with a stick. A reminder of my youth and days gone by, and it helps keep me in good form.
The blessings of our good Lord be with you, Father. I'm here in the name of Sir Hanish of Lipa, investigating the massacre at Neuhof, which seems to be connected to a murder here. Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanush is employing children as investigators. But ask as you wish, boy. I hope this nasty business will be cleared up quickly.
Did you know Lubosh? What was he like?
A bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but at heart I don't think he was such a bad person.
Так.
Did you notice anything suspicious recently?
Ничего
My child.
подозрительного.
All sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubosh don't know what to do about it, and sometimes they do stupid things.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Did you know Lubosh?
Ой,
A bit of a
ничего,
lot.
так.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing on the day Neuhof was raided?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation, but I can't.
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that forbid me to tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Так. Должны же быть
Father,
исключения.
surely you can't be serious. There must be situations in which you can make an exception.
There are things that apply always, no matter what the circumstances. And this is one of them.
Так. И силу заставляю вас говорить, вы ему уже не навредите.
But
Действительно.
Lubosh is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying a vow that's a cornerstone of the Holy Church. If people believed the sanctity of the confessional couldn't be trusted, the consequences would be even worse than that.
Worse than the death of innocent Christians. Worse than the murderer escaping punishment.
No one escapes punishment.
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again. Surely you wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the
Какой же
confessional.
упертый.
I'll tell you what. Give me some time and I'll try to think up some way of helping you. Suppose we talk it over in the evening. In the tavern. Over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right? Thank you, Father.
Вечером встретиться надо. Так, а мне нужно найти местечко, где бы тут можно помыться. И свою лошадь. Вот она. Наверное. Так, что у нас здесь? Бакалейщик, купец, писарь. А что здесь? Найти бы какие-нибудь купальни. Или что-то типа того. Хотя бы что-то с водой. О! Теперь должен быть чистым. Так, это кто?
I was going to get him to do something for me.
God be with you.
I've come in the name of...
So Hanush gives a job like that to a young fellow like...
Кем был?
Do you know what Lubosh would...
I don't think he was home at all.
Do you know anyone Lubosh...
I really don't know. As far as I know, he had no...
That man Lubosh...
He was a strange one. Always drink...
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
I didn't see much of him.
Так, назад.
That's all. Thank you.
Так. Собственно, думаю, нужно бы сюда вернуться. Где мы тут с людьми-то разговаривали. Вот здесь, кажется. Хотя, думаю, разговора со священником, в принципе, должно хватить. Палач. И подождем вечером. Надо было лучше поспать. Энергия бы восстановилась. Наверное, так и попробуем сейчас сделать. Где же ты? Так. Так, думаю, где ж тут поспать-то можно? Поспать. Дождь идет. Так особо нигде не вздремнешь. Позорный столб. Есть тут какая-нибудь кровать или что-то наподобие? Может, какой-нибудь в доме? А нет. Было бы неплохо, конечно. О, крестьяне. А точно, у меня же нет отмычек. Лошадь, стой, стой. Так, иди сюда. Ты сейчас А, нет, не говори, что ты все забаговалось конкретно. Я боюсь на тебя садиться верхом, потому что я боюсь, придется перезагружаться. Ладно. Пойдем подальше, может, телепортируешься. О, отлично. Как? Эх. Я думал, упаду. Писаешь? Кто ты такой? Подозрительная личность.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Так.
I'd like to learn to read.
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and a few groschens for my trouble.
Alright. I don't want to waste time. We can get started.
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple of days so I can put you through your paces, if indeed time is of the essence.
Так. Ого.
Here are your groschen.
Then we may as well start. He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart. Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit. There's a book here on the table. Try to read it.
Will I manage?
You ought to be able to. It's a simple text. Come back once you've worked your way through it.
Как-то раз, подойдя к гнезду своей гусыни, крестьянин обнаружил там яйцо желтое и сверкающее. Когда он его поднял, яйцо оказалось тяжелым, словно медь, и крестьянин решил было его выбросить, подумав, что его тут разыграл. Однако, поразмыслив, он взял его домой и вскоре, к превеликой радости, обнаружил, что яйцо это сделано из чистого золота. Каждое утро повторялось то же самое, и вскоре он разбогател на продаже золотых яиц. И чем богаче он становился, тем сильнее мучила его жадность, и решил забрать разом все, я так понял, все золотые яйца, которые могла принести ему гусыня. Он убил ее и распотрошил, однако внутри не было ничего. Отлично.
I've read the book.
Wonderful. So tell me, what have you learned?
Так, там было что-то о каком-то парне гусыне. Так.
That being greedy doesn't pay.
Excellent. You're one of my most talented pupils. You've uncovered the meaning hidden in the letters. Like I told you, books are valuable, and the words that you place in them ought to be no less so.
Does that mean that I can read them?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To fully learn your way around words will take a lot more reading yet. Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. If you really want to be able to read, there's no getting away from Latin. There's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back. You need not understand it, but you should master the letters.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asking me to tackle Latin.
You're a clever lad. You'll manage.
Так, где книга? Наверное, вот это. Сядем. Сумма. Почитаем. Ого! Есть либер там масло он алка. Просит. Гистрис нот мусораторс эст куи. Так. Ничего не понятно, ну да ладно. Сейчас мы все разберемся. Так.
I read the page.
So tell me, Distrupule, what's written there?
Думаю, вот это.
Nullus est liber tam malus, ut non lique parte prosit.
Good heavens! Don't tell me you haven't had lessons before. Excellent. Well, there's nothing more I can teach you. Congratulations. You can go and be ordained right away.
Thank you, Domine. I'm feeling a lot wiser.
Отлично. Так. Навыки. Чтение. Ну. И что мне с ним делать? А, вот. Когда вы читаете, то усталость и голод нарастают в 2 раза медленнее, чем обычно. Ловкость книги становится дешевле. А, почему нет? Так.
I've come in the name
Of course.
Так.
That man
Кем был
Lubosh who
убит
was
Любаш?
murdered.
He was a drunk who was always
Have you noticed anything
Well, now I...
Do you know what Lubosh...
Not a clue.
Do you know anyone Lubosh...
He was a loner.
Так.
That's all. Thank you.
Отличный учитель. Так, что у тебя есть? Букварь. И сколько же он стоит? На турнирах. Ого, дорого. Ну, допустим. Так, а как их читать теперь? Букварь. Наша букварь до 15 века, ищите их в скрипториях. Так, ну нужно и так вечера ждать, поэтому, думаю, можно спокойно поучиться чтению. Итак, собственно, где тут... В смысле, а где задание? Вечером в корчме надо встретиться. А, ну вот. За моей спиной. Я потерял цель. Сивка. Опа. Поехали. Проехал. Ух ты, навоза тут. Ух ты, дамочку привел с собой. Надо как-нибудь, кстати, нам в Катарезите наведаться.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything, but maybe we can work something out. But first I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
Так.
I'm from Skalitz.
Я из Скалицы.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was. But I really don't like to talk about it.
I understand. I'm sorry. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Ujit, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most important thing. What actually happened in Noyo? The good folks here about are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
Так, в этот раз они не преувеличивали.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. Sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
Так, давайте перейдем
Well,
к
we've had
делу.
an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
You're just making excuses. The people who say the church is corrupt are right. You don't care about anyone, only your own comfort.
I'm sorry you see it that way. Really sorry. You've no idea how wrong you are.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujit isn't Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. The tongue lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison, and nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive fur, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
Where can I find out more about his teachings?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them at my presbytery.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up, and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe.
What do you think of this Jan?
He's certainly a wise man. If he got out of Prague...
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. Oh, it's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
Coming right up.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Thank you, dear.
Кажется, это плохо закончится.
To nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj padł dziesięć smutek, do mnie loi rano utek, niech ich małżeński majstrat, do wczera żył nestaje brak. Už se jí bojí svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě kůži. Nám je to jedno a tak si dám jedno a požerem si huby jako poslední den. Půjďme se mápy, panora na stávy a tak vypal suky a posaď se mi sem. Tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra je tu soudnej den. Tak nalej mi hned, ať točí se svět.
Enough of this! Bailiff! Come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks? and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Нет. Опять мыться придется.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Ща будем драться. Так интересно. Они будут этот... Опа, 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 полегче. Опа, пропустил таки. Оп. Давай, давай. Опа, опа, опа. Тихо, тихо, тихо. Ох, камера. Ты куда уезжаешь? Тихо, тихо. На тебе. На тебе. Ох, ну и пьянство, конечно же. Куда я смотрю вообще? На тебе. Ближний бой без оружия. Так, главное сейчас по пьяни нечаянно меч не достать. О. Помоги богуте. Поднимитесь на колокольню. Что? О, это будет тяжело. Так, как подняться сюда? Я ничего не... Открывай. Да. Весело было.
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
О, сейчас всю деревню подымем.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody hell. And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Got him, you old goat.
Come here.
Ну и ночка была.
Oh.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Та-дам! О боже. Где это я? Поговори. Так. Ладно. Мне надо найти свою одежду. Так, вот, кажется, колокольня.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Потрясающий святой отец. Какой-то уже день, наверное.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. And we have a wonderful time.
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. Oh, my guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Wait, before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me. I'd like to help you, but you can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look, from what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
О, вот это неплохо было бы узнать. Так, только где моя одежда? Так, тайна исповеди уже не снята.
We'll never get away with it.
Not if you make a hash of it.
So all at once the confessional seal isn't so sacred?
Don't mock me. I won't give you a second chance.
Well, alright. But I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubosh.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
Так. Где моя одежда?
Come on, Henry. Don't tell me you changed your mind.
Так, что у нас тут? Так, по сумма пищи. Твары с календулы. О, сила. Мастер клинча, мул. Крепкая хватка. Восстановление вашей носительности не будет замедляться. Даже если оружие отбито. Так, вы можете отнять здоровье и выносливость врага, врезавшись в него во время спринта. Так, а еще пьянство. Вино опьяняет вас на 50% слабее, так что вы сможете выпить больше, однако пиво опьяняет вас вдвое сильнее. Для алкоголя ваши руки трясутся на 25% меньше, и навык стрельбы из лука увеличивается на плюс 2. Но когда вы трезвые, руки трясутся на 25% сильнее. О, пивной. Итак, где мои вещи? Я это хочу узнать. Сабля. Так. И... так. Ладно, дома, наверное, надо... О, нет. Ах, тут можно загрузиться? Итак, еще раз характеристики. Сила. Мастер клинча, навыки. Пивной пьяница. А, вот, доспехи-то все здесь. Сейчас мы нарядимся. Штаны. Так, нужен вот это, потом железный койф, потом кожаные перчатки и красный капюшон. Вот, вроде все. А, еще цервильер. Я же выпил отвар из календулы, что тебя так качает? Ох, сейчас будет веселуха.
Never show up.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him. Mother of God, he was now throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hac facite in meam commemorationem. Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who's here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will cue first.
Точно не меня. Итак, уверенно начинай пробовать, начать долгую проповедь. Ну, вот так вот, наверное.
Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. I am here to tell you about Mother Church and to show you through my words how she is falling into decay and abandon. How the once great mother of all Christians is losing her dignity and trading in souls like the merchants in the temple. But I am digressing.
Boy, there's a cheek.
Так, ну, совершается.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
Так, продолжать ровным тоном, продолжать словно от,
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, enemies, injustice, hunger and chaos, failed harvests, fires, floods and other catastrophes. The accursed wealth that the church is drowning in is poisoning almost the whole of Christendom. When dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens that has descended on this land to peck up every speck of gold and silver. They show no mercy. Their hearts are poisoned by covetousness. They trade everything. Everything is for sale. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay, and you will have absolution. And the prelates sin and give themselves absolution.
For shame. Shame upon them.
Так, говорите грехи блуда.
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters, Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right.
Так, продолжать ровным тоном, думаю, продолжать многословно.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates! Away with them!
We're fortunate to have our good Father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
Спущенных священников, в том числе и в Боготу. Так, критерий распущения на заступиться.
I say to you, in the words of Jan Hus, he who knows much, let him speak much. He who knows little, let him speak little. Let each speak as much as he knows. And he who knows nothing, let him at least teach his neighbour one virtuous deed by setting him good example and refraining from playing dice and from fornication. And that applies both to priests and to you, brothers and sisters.
That's his conclusion?
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Ну, кажется, в конце так себе. Надо было заступиться за богату. Снял шлем уже.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, Dales.
A young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver tongue.
Throws a level with the rug. We told him nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So is gluttony. And fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Happy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you?
Well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko. Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Чаша упала. Неисповедимые пути. О, уже протрезвел. И спать вроде не так хочет. Так, найти других на разбойников. Ну, что ж. Карта. Куда нам нужно? Ого. Так, стоп, не здесь. Выследи вонючку. Вонючка. Так. Мне бы в Таленберг. Или куда там? В Ровне это было, я уже плохо помню. Где Тереза-то? Или... А, нет, в Ротае, кажется. Вот, да. Ох, надо было на лошади. Так, не обращать внимания, изучить. Что за путник? Ох, ты кто такой? Странствующий рыцарь. Не дай бог с тобой.
What is it?
Поссориться.
I'd like to challenge you to a duel, sir. A little amicable combat. That sounds interesting. But what should we fight for?
Ah, so chivalry alone is not enough to tempt you.
No, sir. I'm drawn to more, glittering.
Не это имел в
I
виду.
see.
Ну,
Well, why not? Let us make it more interesting then. I'll tell you what. I have a fine suit of armor, a horse and a sword I won at dice. The horse and sword I can use, but the armor doesn't fit me well. I'll bet a piece of armor against a reasonable sum of groschen.
так, у меня действительно нет столько
I don't
грошей.
have that much coin on me.
You're the one who wants a wager, friend. I'm still willing to fight you for honor alone, if you so wish.
Так. Нет, пока у меня
Sorry,
нет на это
I don't have
времени.
time for it.
В другой раз
No
как-нибудь.
matter. My apologies for keeping you. Godspeed.
I'll have to get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
Сейчас мы на лошадке поедем. Так, сначала пища. О. И дальше поедем к мельнице. Энергия, сытость. Нападение дороги.
What are you looking for here? I won't put up with the likes of you.
Так, что такое? А, я оружие себе не выбрал. Охотничий лук. Крестьянский лук и охотничья стрела. Снарядить. Да доставай ты меч. Ну все, иди сюда. А, тебе. На. Говнюк. И ты иди сюда. Чё они не дерутся со мной? О, полегче, полегче, полегче. Так, что-то я потерял хватку. Так, надо разбежаться. Отойти чуть-чуть назад. Развернуться. А, он отходит. Ничего, сейчас мы тут разделаемся. А, на тебе. Так, за ним. Отлично. Разбойнички. Не стоило на меня нападать на дороге. Итак. Разбойник, что у тебя есть интересное? Пиво. О. Оружие у него топор, кажется, какой-то был, но я его сейчас вряд ли найду. Да, я из-за них весь в крови. Ну, меч, по крайней мере. Так. Где еще был твой дружок? Дубина. Вот он. Что-то вообще... Так. Кофе, дешевое вино, красные шоссе, самогон, собачья щетина. Как много алкоголя. Это какие-то не разбойники, а пьяницы.
I feel quite hungry.
Голоден? Сейчас поедим. Итак, пища. Что-нибудь у меня есть из еды, а не из... Что за шкварики? А, ну, пусть будут шкварики. Думаю, тут недалеко осталось. Можно так доехать. А, нет, далековато будет. Так, игрок. У меня что-то бой, ведение боя. Финт. Выполнять его финты. Кровавое письмо. С большей вероятностью вы сможете пустить кровь своему сопернику. Ржавый клинок. Ваш меч тем больше для того, что вы отравитесь, попав по нему. Даже если на вашем клинке нет яда. Если вы отравите сломанное оружие, шанс отравить врага увеличится наполовину. Вот, думаю, что лучше. А вот, кстати, по поводу навыков и... так, усиление... Где же здесь? Янство, травничество, бой. Вот, удар тупым концом. Колющий. Так, понятно. Вот и мы прибыли на мельницу. Тереза. Здравствуй, если это ты, это торговка. Кажется, я обломался. Так. Где же, собственно, сама мельница? Кажется, я с чем-то ошибся. Вот она же, мельница-то. А, вправо. Видимо, я уехал от нее. Вот. Надо будет еще посмотреть, что там у нас с заданием в холмах. Так, значит, только карта. Найди кольцо в доме палача и украсть его. Да я бы с удовольствием бы это сделал, будь у меня отмычки. Так, у меня есть гроши, чтобы расплатиться.
I've got the money to pay that debt.
And I was afraid you had a chamber pot for a head. Hand it over. That job's still going, if you're interested.
Sure, I'm on it.
Так.
Would you teach me something about the milling craft? Like how to get things out of strangers' purses into your own?
Aye, why not? You're handy enough. No doubt you'll master it. Come behind the mill where we won't be seen.
Классный мельник. Да ты медленный.
What the hell? I'll stand here and pretend I don't know you're there. You try sneaking up behind me without me seeing you and take something from my purse. First, you have to rummage in the purse. The longer you do it, the better chance you have of finding something valuable, but also getting caught in the act. Once you've found something you want, you've got to pull it out, carefully, but fast enough so I don't notice. Try stealing my dagger. It's there, mixed up with other things.
Так.
Caught you! If this was for real, I'd be yelling for a guard. Try it again. Caught you! If this was for real, I'd be yelling. Caught you! If this was for real, I'd be yelling for a guard. Try it again.
Я не понял, как это работает.
Caught you! If this was for real, I'd be yelling for a guard. Try it again.
Удалась.
I'll stand here and pretend I don't know you're there. You try sneaking up behind. First, you have to rummage in the purse. The longer you do it, the better chance you have of finding something valuable, but also of getting caught in. Once you've found something, you try stealing my dagger. Caught you!
Да как?
If this was for real, I'd be yelling for a guard. Try it again. Caught you!
А,
If this was
это
for
надо
real, I'd be
вернуться
yelling for
еще.
a guard.
Я
Try it
понял.
again.
Интересная схема.
Caught you!
А,
If this was for real, I'd be yelling for a guard. Try it again. Caught you! If this was for real, I'd be yelling for a guard. Caught you!
да что ж
If this was
такое?
for real, I'd be yelling for a guard. Try it again.
Опа.
That's the way. I hardly noticed you were there. I think you're ready to try it out for real. Best practice on drunks and sleeping folk, so you don't end up in jail before you even get started.
Thanks, Peshek.
You're welcome. But I'll be having that dagger back now. Make it quick, though. I don't care.
Так. Тереза.
I'd like to know.
Так.
That's all. So, how have you been?
I can't stop thinking about Skalitz.
I know. It was hell. But life has to go on. Why not clear your head and try to forget about it? At least for now.
What do you mean?
Do you feel like a walk?
That's not a bad idea.
Есть.
It's getting too late now. But if you pick me up during the day, I'll be glad to take a walk with you.
As her ladyship commands?
You jester.
Так. Ну чё? Так что... Журнал. Ухажер. Так, ухажер. Вот он. что? День уже.
What now? Shall we take a walk?
You don't give up, do you? Well, let me think. It's getting too late now. But if you pick me up during the day, I'll be glad to take a walk with you.
Да что ж
As her
такое?
ladyship commands.
Туда
You
пойду.
just...
Туда пойду. Посплю. Так, а что я мог ей бы принести? Вот все, кожаные перчатки, лопату, на турнирах, товары с календулы. Серебряное кольцо. Почему нет? Это ж так мило. Так. Думаю, нужно принять ванну. Где-нибудь бадью найти, вот, например, вот такую, и умыться. Так, и где здесь можно поспать? В мельнице. И желательно поесть. Почему я не могу? А, в смысле? Так мне можно сюда зайти? Что там по поводу сытости? 62. Ну, поспим и поедим заодно. Это ж моя кровать, да? Отлично. И можно спать. Сейчас она говорит очень поздно, зайти днем. А мы попробуем утром. Заодно выспимся. О. Вставай и ешь. Доброе утро. О. Ну, отлично. Бодрит-то как. Не поняла, где она. А, наверное, наверху спит. Ого. Ну и река тут. Интересно, он умеет плавать? Тут не глубоко. Слабый дождик. А меч можно помыть в воде? Вообще, как можно помыть меч? По логике вещей он должен был очиститься. Это ж кровь. Ах. Теперь отсюда выйти. Так. Что у нас здесь? Особо ничего интересного. А вот здесь вот можно оружие помыть? Нет. О. Сюда тоже нельзя зайти. А в амбаре есть интересненькое что-нибудь? Вот даже есть лестница на крышу. Прекрасно. Можно чуть-чуть прокатиться. утром.
What was that?
Опа, опа. Свинюшка. Все еще спят. А это кто тут такой? Это не этот ли рыцарь, желающий поединка? Да, он самый. Че, вы еще спите? Этот нет. О.
What? No, go away.
Ладно, не хочет просыпаться. Думаю, можно пропустить время. Часик еще подождать до 8. Ну и где ты, ленивица? Что это тут у нас? Так. Может, стоит пока у мельника еще поучиться.
You. What do you want from me?
А, хотя нет, стоп. Карманную.
Will you teach me how to pickpocket?
Are you pulling my pizzle? You want me to teach you after what you did?
Что я натворил? В смысле? Что? Что я натворил? Что я не так сделал? Ладно. Ладно. Тогда мы ухажера пока отключим. А вот это попробуем выполнить. Где там наш палач? Нам нужно это кольцо. Мы его сейчас заполучим. Что не так сделал? Почему он так на меня обиделся? Все же было хорошо. Да как же тут подняться-то? Слышу, собаки лают. Так, сначала сам висельный холм осмотрим. Может он тут. Могилу-то он закопал уже, наверное. А, нет. Тогда без понятия, где этот палач. Хозяин, где ваш? Чё лаешь? Да, видимо, он как куда-то пропал. Так он и не вернулся. Ну что ж. Смычки я вряд ли у него найду. Сесть. Что ж. Ладно. Попробуем тогда к Терезе. Ох ты ж. Аккуратно. Коняшка. Мы почти на месте. Так, она еще спит. Ты скажи, что тебе не нравится-то.
Can you tell me...
Do you know Sir Bernard, the rat-eye captain?
He's a grumpy bastard.
What about the Scallops?
God sent them to punish us.
Do you know anything about...
The heathen scum...
That's all. Can you tell me something about...
There's a couple of other fellows around here in my trade.
Tell me about Wojciech.
He's young and hot-blooded, with unfortunate...
What about this Simon?
An odd one he is. A loner who don't talk...
Так, хотя бы попробовать незаметно украсть еще раз.
I'd like to try pick...
Alright, come behind the mill, away from
Пойдем. За мельницу. Почему бы и нет?
I'll stand here and pretend I don't know you're there. First, you have... Once you've found... Try stealing my...
Да.
That's the way. I hardly noticed you were there. I think you're ready to try it out for real. Best practice on drunks and sleeping folk, so you don't end up...
Thanks, Peshek.
You're welcome.
Так, а можно еще пройти обучение?
I hear you're able to open...
Are you pulling my pizzle? You want me to teach you after what you did here?
Видимо, из-за того, что я якобы провалил задание с палачом. Так. Ты еще спишь? Спускайся.
What now? Should we take a walk?
You don't give up, do you? Well, let me think. And where would you care to go?
В корчму, наверное.
What if we took a stroll along the river?
Why not? That sounds lovely. Shall we go?
Let's go.
What were you going?
Спускайся. Где? Я понял. Это будет сложно. А, все. Вообще можно было бы на лошадях, а не пешочком. Ну да ладно. Так, а что у нас тут по журналу идет в этом задании? Прогуляться. Ну так прогуляемся. Веди. Пома найдет быстрее, чем я.
That was a good idea to go for a walk. Not that I don't like the mill, but you get tired of it. So I'm glad you took me out.
Ладно.
That was a good idea to go for a walk. Not that I don't like the mill, but you get tired of it. So I'm glad you took me out.
Можно?
That was a good idea to go for a walk.
Что
Not that I
заладила.
don't like the mill, but you get tired of it. So I'm glad you took me out. I'd love to see the markets in Prague one day. Have you ever been to Prague?
No, I haven't. I have been in Kuttenberg, but Prague must be much bigger.
I've heard it's pretty smelly though.
Yeah, so many people in one place. So many assholes.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting. Водичка.
I'd love to listen to that young preacher, Jan Hus. They say he preaches in a common tongue. Everyone's talking about it.
I bet he's just handsome. That's why the women dote on him.
You're a right one. A preacher doesn't need good looks for people to listen to him.
And what about that fine fellow at St. James? I know full well why all the girls have started going to confession, and you have too. So don't give me any of that.
You scoundrel. Well, all right. I admit I find him handsome. But that doesn't make me a bad Christian.
I'd never dare to suggest such a thing.
Tell you what. Let's not dawdle. Last one is a slimy slug.
Докуда? Ух, ничего себе, ты навтопила. Ой, ё-моё. Шустрая какая. Да на куда бежать-то хотя бы скажите. Я выиграл.
Fun. Sit down here next to me, Hal.
О.
And what about you? I heard you're helping Sir Radzig.
Sir Radzig has me running a few errands. I have to say, he always treats me well, and I make a wage.
So you've had your turn of luck. What's it like serving nobility?
Купаюсь в роскоши, обычная работа. Купаюсь в роскоши.
Oh, it's endless luxury, money, banquets, games stuffed with other games.
A chicken stuffed with a frog.
Yeah, and that's nothing compared to a frog stuffed with a chicken.
A goat stuffed
with a pig?
Романтик. Вперед. И все.
Now then.
Так что?
Oh, Henry, what am I going to do with you? Wandering the land, turning innocent girls' heads.
Надеюсь, у тебя так. О, да, это было бы очень мило. Максимальная вероятность на успех. Только не право.
Just look at
О,
the
да.
lady killer. Where did you learn to talk that way?
I don't recall which church service it was exactly.
You scoundrel. You certainly know how to make a girl feel special. You may continue. But now I have to go.
Can I go with you?
Just a little way. I don't want anyone to gossip.
О, боже. Через пару дней. Слушайте. Так точно.
Thank you for coming with me. Please come and see me again.
Of course. My Fräulein. Так. Сумма. Просто если так подумать, что ей можно подарить, думаю, факел ей не очень подойдет. А вот кольцо еще, кажется, может кружку пива. По-моему, это отличная идея. Или окровавленный крючок. Гроши, букварь. Букварь ее унизит, она, наверное, не умеет читать. О, применить бронник. Ведь так, это в смысле? Что это такое? Наручи. Ой. У меня брони-то толком нет, поэтому поставим пока. А в смысле на лошадь это можно что-то... Оказывается, что-то можно на лошадь нагрузить. Вау. Действительно. Что за карта сокровищ? Так. Нью. Хофф. Дом. Угу. Я, кажется, знаю, что это за город такой. Нойхоф. Вот. Собственно, где-то здесь должен быть вниз по реке домик. Так, еще раз, значит. Сумма. Карта сокровищ. Вот он, Нойхоф. По дороге. Река, переход. Вот лагерь. И походу это за лагерем. Это вот как раз Нойхоф. Это здесь переход через речку. По-моему, это где-то здесь. Если я не ошибаюсь. Там вот как раз вот сеть дорог. Ну что ж, журнал. Ухажер. Я должен через пару дней. А пока что, думаю, можно будет съездить за сокровищем. А пока на сегодня все. Всем спасибо, всем пока.